past is history, the future mystery. This moment is the gift. Every
Greg Larsen, miracle maker, singing about the past is history, the future mystery. This moment is a gift.
Yeah.
You're listening to Dr. Sarah Larsen in studio on a date with my miracle maker husband. And we're so excited by our guest in studio. We have miracle makers in the house. And just before we went live, our guest and I were sharing, wow, we've been trying to make this connection at such a deep level for quite a few years. And everything in the environment is so right to make this happen. We've got in studio, oh my gosh, Rickie Byars Beckwith.
Yes.
She is the founder, the First Lady of Agape, as so many know and come to love her. We hear her voice, her song, her music. And for the past few years, she has been mama to so many children with a beautiful school and a beautiful organization that is really shifting the future. Oh, I can't wait for you to talk about Kuma and all of these beautiful miracles that are coming. Welcome.
Thank you. It's such a pleasure to be here. I love you. I love you singing lover over here. And I love the way you two love each other. It's just so beautiful. It's inspiring.
It's such a gift for us to be able to share this time and this, what we've created with those that we're so inspired with. You have made miracle after miracle after miracle through the work that you do, the women's work, through the schooling. And I can't wait for everyone to hear your story and what you have on what is coming into the creation.
It's percolating.
Yes, you've invited Ivory Chambeshi. She is so awesome. We've been talking. I saw her and met her at your presentation at your home for Hub City Live that we're going to be talking about on this show. She's a miracle maker as well. This show and you being here is such a pivotal moment in time. Our children, the women, the men are counting on us. The ones that haven't even been born yet are counting on the conversations that we're having today that are resulting in schools, in businesses, in economic development all over the world. Here in Los Angeles at UBN Studio in Sunset Gower in the 6th largest economy, California, in the world, we are talking about ideas and specifically how we think and how we feel and what we believe. So those that want to make a difference have access to our inner dialogue in order to create the change that they wish to be in the world, to make miracles. There's a quote by Einstein, baby, that you really wanted to bring up that you've been thinking about.
Yeah, I don't know the exact quote, but one of our recent guests mentioned that one of the most this is from Einstein. He says one of the most important questions a human being needs to answer for themselves is, do you live in a friendly universe or not? And that's such a huge distinction.
Powerful.
And I've been reflecting on that all week because it just struck me so hard. Because even though I'm very optimistic and for the most part I live in a friendly universe, even actually today when I was walking with Tyler, our son, across the street, I saw like a homeless man sitting on the curb with a bottle and I when I was walking around him, I was on guard. It was not a friendly universe at the moment, even though the man was probably
so kind.
He could have been so kind and so loving, but in that moment, I hesitated for a moment. It was just like, no, I believe the universe is friendly, and I want to make a stand for that. Because I don't think Tyler was. He was just, He had his cookie and his hot chocolate. And he was like, "Woo, this is a friendly universe, yeah, baby!" Woo! And I, as a dad, I'm like monitoring, and it's just like, oh my gosh, I just want to be a stand for a friendly universe.
I have a song called "Friendly Universe."
Oh,
Yay!
will you sing a verse or two
Now?
right now?
Yeah. and then I want to say something about the friendly universe.
Yeah.
It was written at a meditation retreat. I should have brought my piano.
Yeah.
A lot of my songs are tributes to the sun because
Yes.
the sun is the sun.
Yeah.
And this one says, the sun, I meet the sun, the brightest star that lights the earth. My soul, my soul, my soul receives. This is a friendly universe. A child will meet the sun, the brightest star that lights the earth. A child will see the best unfold inside a friendly universe. So, and it goes, goes on, that a child will see his best unfold inside. So the best in him will unfold if he's in a friendly environment, ecology.
Yeah.
If you're giving him the best you got, even if it's rough in the world, he'll have a cushion as he forms to be what he came to be.
Yeah.
It's so beautiful. As you were saying and singing that, I got an image of tigers that are loving birds,
Yes.
and these giants that could be ferocious, that have all their needs met, loving the birds and the things around them.
Yes.
The sun gives to the earth over and over and over again consistently, never asking the earth, what about mine?
Right.
Where's my thanks?
This is a thankless universe. Maybe that's why it's shining all the time. It's pissed off.
It's like, come on, just one acknowledgement. No.
If you diss me one more time, I'm going out. No, the sun is the sun.
The sun is the sun, and it gives and gives and gives. And Rickie, that's how I see you.
Yeah.
You're the sun, and you're giving constantly to the community. And you have been for over 25 years in a consistent position where whatever you're asked, you give to the community. You have an extraordinary level of giving and gifting and loving. So many, not just your own children, but so many others consider themselves, your children. Your voice is what helped them fall asleep or feel safe in the universe. They heard your voice in the music that you make and the songs that you sing. One of them, how is life calling me to serve?
How can I serve today?
How can I serve today? That being the mantra of so many people. How did you come to this yourself? How did you become this so early on? We're seeing the shift now in the environment where people are getting, it's good for me to be kind. It's good for my biology. It's good for the world. It creates better connections, win-win. But you had this for years, and you've been sharing this and who you are for years.
Well, I think when I entered this place, I entered in a whole nother way. It's kind of hard to explain. I think in another life, I really do think I was Beethoven in another life because I always knew Old King Wenceslas. I don't even know if Beethoven wrote that, but whoever wrote that, I think I was that person because I always knew the song. Yes. I could always play. People say, "When did you study? How did you learn to play piano?" I could always play, and I never could not play. I mean, when I went to the piano, I could just pick the melodies. I knew it, and we didn't even for years. I didn't have an instrument until I was 21.
Wow.
I taught myself to play. Wow. I put it together, and there's something about growing and unfolding in the wild like that creates a wild child. And the world comes in on a wild child and says, you can't be wild.
Yeah.
You are black, and you are not going to get that record deal that we gave Carly Simon or Carole King, unless you are really prepared for that kind of information, which I was not, because I believed the hype.
Yes.
And the hype was you can be anything you want to be in this country.
Yes.
You know, so I had this music that's just gushing out of me, but I was hitting these walls and seeing how it goes. And you know, you don't know that's what you're doing as you're growing in your 20s, but that's what we're doing.
Yeah.
We're finding out now, what is it about at this level?
Yes.
Where I am now, what is this about? And what it was about was waking up and understanding that it's not an even playing field.
Yeah.
You know, it is a friendly universe.
Yeah.
But this, in the world, the playing field is interesting, but it's
Yeah.
interesting because it must be interesting in order for me to become who I was to become, who I am to become.
I love so much of what you shared. You had a knowing early on that you translated into activity. You knew how to play music, you knew songs, you taught yourself, and you pushed yourself to the edge of who you could be in that moment. And you kept pushing against
did.
the edges.
I kept pushing. And then one day I really lost hope. My daughter had a severe healing crisis where she was in a condition that reflected exactly where I was.
Yeah.
But I didn't have the words for it. She couldn't see. She woke up, she was blind. Then quickly she couldn't walk, she couldn't move, and she couldn't speak. And it took me many years to understand that she was reflecting what I had become.
Yeah.
And the relationship that I was in at that time.
Yeah.
But it was also clear that when she went through that crisis, that I wasn't standing on anything spiritually. Like, I did not go to church. I didn't have a spiritual community. I had a spiritual practice, but I didn't have it was a personal practice, but it wasn't communal in my family. There was no vibrant love. You know, a vibrant love. There was music.
Yes.
There was music, but it was a different kind of music. So, and there was a struggle. There was struggle. So when I finally slipped, tripped, and dipped into Agape, and I wasn't trying to go to Agape, and I only went because he was paying me. You know, he is Michael Bernard Beckwith. You know, so when he called me to come to the church, and, you know, it was like I wasn't really trying to do that. And a lot of people know this story, so I won't go into that story. But when I stepped into Agape at that time,
Yes.
and I heard Michael's voice, he was my teacher instantly. And when I sang, I was my teacher instantly.
Yes.
Because I was mentoring to myself.
The channeling of the spiritual universe.
Yes.
The verse being the song of God.
Yes.
Setting the intention and that coming through you, listening to your songs became the way that you learned how to be you.
Yes,
Your
exactly.
essence. Yes.
Exactly. And the song I sang that day was Follow Your Road. It's a song by a group called Seawin. And it says, do you wonder where your road will lead to? Maybe to a song that needs singing, or Summer's Rain, or it might be you're afraid to go, but you got to follow your road or you'll never know.
Yes.
And so I'm singing, follow your road, and I'm out of the body in this experience. You know, I'm singing, and the whole church is just mesmerized. And it was that was Agape's first anniversary Sunday.
Yes.
Wow.
I showed up on the first anniversary.
Wow.
I was invited to sing that Sunday.
Paid to sing, a
Yeah.
professional singer, beautiful, showing up at the request of the spiritual voice, that cutting edge that existed at that time. And it has become a hub, a center of development, of a group think tank for the best that can be achieved through humanity.
Yes.
And you give the lyrics and the songs and the sounds to that community. Quite often people say, I'm going to hear Rickie. And the song and the choir and the music, the universe, that verse coming through.
Yes.
It's so, so beautiful. And I love what you shared. And you started a story about your daughter.
Yes.
And being in this space of blind because Mama, who she's under, who kind of wraps her in love.
Right.
Mama had no vision.
Right.
Mama had no voice.
Mama's in trouble.
Mama's in trouble. And she became the physical expression of that trouble.
Yes.
And so what happened next?
Oh, in that scenario, she was she went to Cedars-Sinai. She was there for 6 weeks. And in that time, she only wanted to hear one song. And my children were always musical, too.
Yeah.
They're all self-taught. You know, they all have that
Yes.
thing. And she only wanted to hear this one song that I had written. It was a mercy write. I didn't even want to write this song with this guy.
Yeah.
But he kept bugging me. Did you put any music to my lyrics? Did you put any music to my lyrics? So finally, I just let me do something with this song so this guy would leave me alone. And I put the music to the song, and that's the song that she wanted to hear. And the name of the song is God is Alive and Well. And there's a part in it that says, it is his power. He wrote his. I'm a her person.
Yes.
I'm he, her, it. God is more than gender, and you know.
I
For
call
me,
God
you know.
mysterious possibility.
I love it.
That's what I
Yeah.
call God.
Yeah.
It's the synergy of mysterious possibilities.
Yeah.
Yeah,
For
that
me,
is-
it's just creator, supreme
Yes.
inspiration.
Yeah.
You know, but he wrote, it is his power that heals.
Yes.
When we pray, it is his power that changes the world every day. It is, so, and that's what she wanted to hear, that part. And she would grunt it, because she's brilliant. So we had
Yes.
our communication together, and she was, you know. And so then she made and I knew that her crisis was about my not having any place to stand spiritually.
Yeah.
To being in a relationship that denied everything spiritual,
Yes.
And being bullied with that, so in its own way. Sometimes it's just mental abuse. It's not really physical abuse, but but it becomes physical when it turns in on you and you
That's
die
right. That's
because
right.
you're lonely inside.
Or you're watching your children.
Yeah.
The sins of the father are visited, or the sins of the
Right.
parents are visited upon their
Upon the-
children.
exactly.
And I see sin as the Course of Miracles missing the mark.
Mm-hmm.
Where we miss the mark as parents is visited on our children.
Yes.
And so your daughter is being visited, and she knew her own healing.
Yes.
This song, these lyrics, grunting it, and what
Something.
yes.
So she went. And knowing that it was her, it wasn't about her, because this child was
Yes.
born pristine. When she was born,
Yeah.
it was just amazing. I was like, oh my goodness, who is this being that's crawling the second day?
Yes.
I'm talking about Georgia. All of our children are great,
Yes.
but I'm talking about her, who also gave birth to the little boy that does this right after he's born. It's like these magical beings. So we're all magical, but we don't always know that.
Yes.
And it's not always honored in a magical way, in a real way. So
native-
get out of here talking about you see your granddaddy.
Yeah.
Go play
Yes.
ball. Say no, but I see something behind your head, Mom. But I called people to pray for her,
Yes.
and some very powerful people did. Alice Coltrane is the best name, but Swamini came, she
Yes.
would visit her. My mom came with oils of lords of
Water,
oil
the Lord's,
Yeah.
from France.
from France. I mean, different people came, people from Agape
Yes.
that I didn't even know yet.
Yes.
Were there. People that were visioning were coming and praying for her. And just, so then when her vision came back, it came back when I'm sleeping in her room with her, and I looked around the room. I was like, this isn't about her. This is about me.
Yeah.
So let me learn what I need to know. But it's not about her.
Yeah.
So whatever needs to happen, show me and release her. And she woke up not at that
Yes.
moment, but when she woke up in the middle of the night, she just looked around her bed and she goes like, wow, look at all these wonderful animals. Because people had given her stuffed animals.
Yeah.
But she could see them. And her vision didn't come and go. It was
Yes.
there. She was back again, solid. Her brain was firing again.
Yes.
And then she learned how to walk and how to eat. And, it was quite a journey.
Yeah.
It was quite a journey. And but she grew up to be very great.
Oh, that is so beautiful. Miracle makers. I became the woman I am for my daughter and my son as well. Our son talks about the angels.
Yes.
It's something that I'd seen my whole life as well, and can take pictures of them. It's amazing. We have a series of pictures of angels. The next generation, the generations that are coming, are counting on us to
Yes.
recognize and carry our own stuff.
Yes.
They're like, can you handle your business,
Can you
please?
Wow.
You
Yeah.
handled
Yes.
your business,
Yes.
and it no longer visited your daughter in that format.
Mm-hmm.
There's a co-creation of the reality that we're experiencing, and when we let our essence shine and we receive, oh, this is how I was dimming my own essence
Right.
of what
Exactly.
could be.
Yes.
And for me, I did so many things before becoming a mom. And Ivory, I know this speaks to you. So I did so much. The thing that I wanted to get right, perfect, do better than anything else was being a mom. When I learned I was going to have a child, that moment was so profound for me. And I know a lot of what we do is because we believe so much in what goodness, purity they have inside them. I heard you describe your daughter, Ivory. You described her as bomb.com.
She is. She's incredible.
Which you said there is this hope, purity, this God magnificence. And miracle makers listening, that's how your creator, the mysterious possibility, the sun, the central sun, however you label God, your creator sees you. Hope, purity, God's magnificence. Is so beautiful. So you have a 2.5-year-old daughter. What do you believe is possible for her? We're going to talk about some of the stuff that we're working on, that you're working on. What do you want her to have and know?
Okay. Well, thank you so much for the opportunity to be here, and thank you for the invitation. This conversation has already been so rich, and I love any opportunity to rave about my baby. Well, she just, I mean, she embodies the possibility, and I want her to know that anything that she endeavors to do, she can do, whether that's art, whether it's scientific research, scientific creation, whether it's, leading us to the next phase of equity and justice, leading the movement, so to speak, that anything that she endeavors to do is available to her. And what excites me about the project that we'll speak about soon is that
Hub City Live.
Hub City
what
Live.
Excites us all. Yes.
is that things are being developed to create that sense of possibility and promise for, more children to take advantage of. So I just want her to know that her possibilities in life aren't limited based on her zip code or her, the color of her skin or the kink in her hair or, her plumbing, so to speak.
I'd love for you to share, baby, because you're hearing this incredible conversation between mamas that are in love with the world, in love with their children, in love with possibility. I'd love for you to share what's happening.
Well, so far, what really, really hit home for me was this need to, as an adult, as a parent, to grow up. Because sometimes when we have disagreements, and I look at our kids, they're sitting there, I can see in their face, oh my God, just grow up, please. I can see in their face, we probably have more, more times when we're not mature, and they're counting on us to please just grow up. And so it's such a need as from where we are right now, if we really want the miraculous of our children to be fully unleashed, which we need to help correct our course as humans, we need to grow up.
What's required now is all of us individually Your parents can raise you so far, but your schooling, your education can raise you so far. If you're hearing this, the rest is up to you to raise yourself.
Yes.
What do you need to let go of?
Yeah.
What do you need to be part of?
Yes.
Yeah.
What
Yes.
is required for you to join? What's required? And I see this movement that's happening for Miracle Makers, for Hub City Live. This is by being part of this, you're creating what's required
Yes.
for ourselves to be fully raised,
Right.
and for the next generation to have parents, have government officials, a place where everyone has fully raised themselves.
Yes. Yes.
And continue to raise themselves every day at the edge of themselves.
At the edge. We certainly work at the edge, don't we? But that's where it happens. That's
Yes.
creativity is at the edge.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is that
Truly
at the
is.
edge?
That's the art form. You take whatever ingredients you have right there, right then, and you create the best that's possible
Best.
with that, without an expectation beforehand. You let the mystery of what's possible. You set an intention.
Yes.
You catch a vision.
Yes.
But most importantly, you are curious.
Yeah. Now that is a creative process.
Yes.
And that's my creative process.
Yes.
And you guys know I go into that meditation retreat with Michael that he does one in the springtime.
Yes.
And he does one at New Year's Eve, and I always say I'm not going. going like, dude, I got something else to do. When maybe let's go somewhere else. But we're sitting there. But anyway, it's brilliant. It's a brilliant exercise. People go like, you're going to write a new song. I go like, no, my writing a new song is not what this retreat is about. This retreat is about meditation.
Yeah.
If a song comes, a song comes. But a song has come for like the last 25 years. I've been at Agape for 29 years.
Wow.
So, but the songs always come, and they come right at that place.
Yes.
It's the place where you didn't expect it, but you prepare for it. You just prepare for it with everything you have,
Yes.
with your willingness. Something like Hub City Live and the things that we're building in the world are much the same way, but they're different in that it takes concrete. There's steps that you have to do. There are
Yes.
business plans, there are renderings, there are site development plans, there are architectural renderings, there are feasibility studies.
You have invited the best
Yeah.
that we know in California to be part of this, to
Yes.
render the design
Yes.
of this beautiful community hub center.
Yeah. And it's so different from see, most of the time it's all about Rickie.
Yes.
It's going on right here in my head. And I
Yeah.
sing it, bam, it's born, and then people hear it, and then they hear it. I make sure they hear it enough.
Yeah.
And then they're singing it, and now it's got the gift,
Yes.
of what it came to be.
And I would call Rickie the higher self Rickie.
Yes.
The conscious, God conscious connected
You're not the one
Rickie.
you meet.
The one you meet is so delicious. Personally, I have delighted.
But the other one,
It's the one that's still growing up.
the one that's growing up. They say, what is it? Don't give up on me. God is not finished with me yet.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
It's so beautiful. This beautiful project, this beautiful organization that's coming together. The best that you've got, cutting edge of stuff that is being created. Hub City Live.
Yes.
Tell us overall, and this is for either one, to really share what you believe is happening with this project.
Okay. Can I give a little history about how it became
Yes.
where it's growing? And then Ivory, who is really great. I got to watch Ivory. I said, oh my gosh, she is just amazing. What an amazing person to have on the team, to be with her.
Yes.
And what it is
pleasure.
that brings you joy, what you love to do. Because you got to love it or you wouldn't be doing it. She's good. But I needed, I was encouraged by my guides, to my spiritual guides, my invisible guides, to find my voice. I went to Nepal with a group of abolitionists, and we were doing work with people who were letting their children go work in enslaved situations, and my job with them was to convince this woman not to sign the paper for her son to go to work. She'd ruined her hands breaking rocks, and she couldn't work anymore. She was a young woman, but her hands were all gnarly. So the only option for her that she could see was to send her child to work. And so it was my job to go in there and convince her not to do that. I'm going like, dude, I came here to do a music video. That's why I came here. I came here to do a music video and to see how you do what you do. But Peggy Callahan, bless her brilliant heart, says, hon, would you go in there and talk to that woman and just see if you can have a conversation? You can do this. And I went in and I did. I was able to do it because I looked at her and I saw myself. You know, I saw myself. And when she looked at me, eventually she saw herself in me. And I got to tell her through an interpreter why I knew she was great, why I knew she could do it, why I knew she was strong enough to not bow down to a slave master and send her child away.
Yes.
You know, and when it was done, she said, I'm not doing it. I am not doing it. I will do this. And she signed on for the programs that were in place so that she could learn how to do other things to take care of herself, to build her own commerce. So on the way back to America on that flight, there was a conversation about building villages and who was going to build a village and raising money for the villages. And I was listening and I'm looking at the people that are having this conversation, great people, but they were all white people.
Yeah.
I was the black person in that group. Not in Nepal. All of them were black. But they don't know that. But so I'm there and I'm going like, there's a group that I need to know that is my village, that I have not spoken to in a long time, that I have not connected to in a long time.
Yes.
And when I came back, I wanted to go to Skid Row and meet people because I was not with my community.
Yeah.
I was with a great community that was agape, a great spiritual community.
Yes.
You know, but it was like, the more successful you are in America, many times it takes you away from the people that look like you, from your tribe. And you can forget about them. They'll be in North Carolina and you visit them on Thanksgiving, you know, but you won't be doing concerts there. You won't be serving in the community there. You won't be bringing your good back there.
Unless you intentionally.
You see it and you go like, I want to stay connected. I want to bring it back this way.
Yes.
I was just bringing mine to agape.
Yes.
You know, and it was good. It was a good investment. You know, it was good. I don't regret that one bit.
Yeah.
But when it was time to grow up, to grow up some more, because we keep growing, to grow some more.
Yes.
And I had come to the edge of this comfort zone. It's like, it's time to see what I came to be.
Yes.
And I started having those conversations, making friends. Oh, my God. You know, and that brought me to Kuumba. So in the midst of the conversations.
Kuumba is this beautiful school that you founded for children.
Well, this is the way that happened. Kuumba means creativity. Going to Skid Row, doing music festivals down there, being with the people down there, and just growing with the feeling that was percolating. I said, you know, I want to build a school because I know about education.
Yes.
My kids went to great schools. Some of them didn't last but 2 years. And then they'd fold and they'd find another creative school and they'd be there, little private schools of people who believed in expanded education. So, and my kids have traveled and been to school and for 2 months here in South Africa, 2 months in China, you know, Pacific Northwest, Pacific Southwest, Midwest, on a school bus. You know, they traveled and learned. That was their education. So I wanted to build something like that for this little boy that's born with his hands like this. You know, these geniuses that are coming in that are being squashed into these boxes to become this product.
Yes.
For control, you know, and so I asked the women around me. I say, because it's never too far away.
Yeah.
You know, and I was like, oh man, I want to make a school. It was like I was giving birth to this idea. And the first, Estella Holman, who was a practitioner at Agape, and I'd known her a long time, she's like, that's a great idea. I'll help you. You know? And I told somebody else, Catherine Scott, I says, you know what? I'm being called to do this school. And she's like, I will help you. Now, the thing is, it's like at Agape has been around for years, but there is no school for the children, you know? And this is not about Agape. This is about me.
Yes.
Yeah, what I could see and what I
It's
could bring.
the miracle seed that's inside you. Each of us is given miracle seeds inside of us, and where they land is up to us. If we hear the voice within us call that seed,
Yes.
that means removing all the things we've seen on the outside that have called to us quite
Yes.
a bit.
Yes. You know,
Yes.
first it's going like, they don't do this, they don't do that. No.
Yeah.
It's like, no, you are to do this.
Yes.
You are to do that. You are to ground, you know, to
There's
stand and ground.
Yes.
Like you just said in your opening prayer, I am
Yeah.
I stand, I am the ground, I am the gifts that God spreads around. That's what Dr. Sarah said.
We pray before every going live, and so that was the prayer.
It was amazing. It was amazing, and I learned to stand.
Yes.
You know, and ground.
Yes.
You know, we started with a Saturday school. That was the best we could do. Was on Saturday. You do the best you can do with what you have. We started Saturday school, and then that changed to a high school, 3 hours a week at a high school, and a continuation school. And we brought specialists in media, in healing, in entrepreneurship, and we just did a wonderful program there at this continuation school, Sojourner Truth. That's the name of the school, Sojourner Truth. I was like, whoa, that's a sign right there, Sojourner Truth. And after that, we did that. We said, but there's more. Now we're ready to grow some more. And our team started a summer camp. And we're now 5th year. So we've been, Kuumba in Motion has been this umbrella for different iterations of itself, but now we're into Kuumba Shule, which means creativity school.
Yes.
And we needed a place for the school. So God brought me to this person named Mikhail Camille, who said, all right, great idea.
You sound like
What you really are talking about. And then he would give the language so eloquently, like you many times do. And he described it, and he says, but that's too small. That's too small. Not you. He's like, that's for somebody, not you. And I'm thinking like, no, me, just a little house. Something I can afford, a little house. And that became Kuumba Center of Culture.
Yes.
And it's like, well, how will the school stand? How will it exist without these parents won't have the money that you would need to keep something like this going, even a school, even a house.
Yes.
You know, how are you going to keep it going? It's got to be sustainable. Model's got to be sustainable. And then that it would be a learning multiplex with a commercial adjacent plaza and a technological center was the plan, that it would feed the school, the cultural center. So the good from it would in part be delivered back to the children and the community.
It's such a beautiful gift to think, wow, this seed, and to match it with those that really see the vision of what can come through and what it can be.
Yes.
A cultural center, a place where the community comes together.
Yes.
Buildings that inspire.
Yes.
Physical activity, commerce centers, ways to elevate the conversation with the people that are not only building it, but that are invited to it, that wind up being inspired.
Yes.
Letting
yes.
the building itself and the spot, the location,
Yes.
be something that calls to greatness.
Yes.
And so I know that you chose Compton.
Yes.
Why Compton?
Well, I'm going to pitch to Ivory. I mean, I can answer that question.
Yeah.
But I want Ivory to talk, so that you could hear from Ivory. But Well, actually, Compton would come before Ivory. I chose Compton. Actually, I was looking for Watts because we always saw Coumba having 5 campuses.
Yes.
One would be at Agape. One would be in South LA. One would be on Skid Row, and one would be in Compton. So Compton, maybe Watts, or Leimert Park area around that over that way. Not quite as deep. One downtown, one at Agape, and one in the Valley.
Yes.
You know, and one in the Valley too. I think it was 5 creative campuses that we wanted to serve, but we were going to start with African American children first because they get passed over, and Latino kids. And hey, Compton seems like the place. It seemed, and McCall said, why not Compton?
Yeah.
I said Watts. He said Compton. and not knowing Watts nor Compton,
Yes.
you know, for me, I was following his direction because I just know black. I don't know Compton.
Yeah.
You know, I just know.
When I was with an NGO, non-government organizations
Yes.
out there in the world,
Yes.
in India and South America, as a doctor, when we got married, before we got married, I thought I was going to be the Mother Teresa of medicine. I thought I'd go to all of these places no one else wanted to go.
Yes.
I hit a little bit of a depression when that vision was stopped and someone said to me, serve where you are.
Serve where you are.
Absolutely.
Serve where you are.
Yes.
And I began to see all of the need that was all around us that I hadn't seen before. And it was partly because from the outside in, looking outside, when we look outside of the U.S., we see certain things, and we ourselves get conditioned to believe it's the outside world
Yes.
that needs us. Far away land
Yes.
needs us.
Yes.
Nepal. And
Kenya.
yes, they do
They
need
do.
us. They do. But we don't have to go there
Right,
to
right.
find those in need to be of service. And Ivory, I love that you started off in South Central
South Central LA.
Yes. And so I know there was something specific about Compton that you wanted to say as well.
Yeah, well, I mean, there are a lot of opportunities in Compton, and I think you make an excellent point with the fact that I don't know the reason for this, but a lot of times we do think that the frontier for where we can serve is, you know, in a developing country in some far-flung place,
Yeah.
when there are severe needs in our own backyards, in our front yards, actually.
Yeah, in the front
Yeah.
yard.
And I can't say the exact study I read, but there was a report that in some inner city communities, the life expectancy is lower than in developing countries, you know, in certain locales. So, and we know that in Watts, the life expectancy is shorter than just, you know, a few miles away to the west side. So there are a lot of opportunities to serve right in front of us, and Compton is a shining example of this possibility. And not because there's a deficit in, you know, in innovative capacity or capital or creativity or what have you, but because it is there, it's just not being harnessed. So I think it's excellent that the vision has been set to establish the Hub City Live in the Hub City, which is very significant because of its regional connectivity,
Yes.
being near Martin Luther King Hospital, being, you know, not too far from the city of Inglewood, which is blowing up.
Yes.
So it's just it's the perfect time, it's the perfect place, and Compton also has the benefit of a new leader, a breath of fresh air who has the vision in the person of Mayor Asia Brown. So it's just kind of this culmination of the right time, the right people, the right energy, and Hub City Live will be the shining star for what an inner city community, a primarily people of color community, is capable of.
It's amazing what can happen when we give to ourselves in our community. We are going out and recruiting people from India, from China to do technology. And Hub City Live has a plan to develop these young children to be tech gurus for what we need.
Right.
We don't need to go to India. We don't need to go to all of these wild places. cultivating what we already have. Most of the jobs that exist today weren't even an idea 10 years ago. There was no structure. Who knows what we're going to need even 5 to 10 years from now? And in our country, to develop our children to be able to grow to the cutting edge of what's possible rather than having it be called in from another place.
Absolutely. And I something that has been exciting for me in thinking about the project, about Hub City Live being in Compton, is that it's already a hotbed of creativity and innovation. And last year, the release of the movie Straight Out of Compton showed that these young boys, who probably didn't see themselves to have a future, got together and created what has become a global musical and economic phenomenon.
Yes.
Rap used to be on the fringe of society. Now you find the likes of Chase Bank and the U.S. government trying to incorporate rap into their messages so they can sell bank accounts. So we just need to, and what Hub City Live will do is cultivate this talent, cultivate the new innovators that will help solve many problems that we face. We know that in the next few years, more people will live in urban areas than they'll live in rural areas. And who best to solve the problems of urbanization, traffic, congestion, environmental degradation, access to jobs, access to transit, than the people who are directly affected by urbanization.
Yes.
People who live in urban America. So Hub City Live, with its 3 wonderful components, marries the soul with art and culture, with the economic activity, with the creation, with the 3 components, which we can talk about when
Right.
I can go into it now.
Right now.
Okay,
This is
very
perfect.
good.
Perfect
Isn't that
timing. Yes.
No, this is Ivory's time now.
Well, it's so exciting.
Into Compton, not
Yes.
straight out of Compton.
Not
That's
straight
what
out
we're
of
going
Compton,
straight into Compton.
I love that.
Yeah.
So Hub City Live is a very dynamic project, the first of its kind in, I would argue, in the United States, maybe even globally, that is concentrated on revitalization and nurturing of an inner city area. And there are 3 wonderful components, which is the Kuumba Center of Culture, which is an arts and culture complex that features a theater, that features a fitness center, exhibit space, and will be a way for Compton to showcase its richness of art and culture. Then the second
And
component,
it will be the home of the first Kuumba Shule.
Yes.
The first school.
Yes. And then we have SoCo, which is the commercial center, which will house a couple of anchor companies that will provide a greater quality of amenities and services. One thing that has plagued inner city areas is lower end retail. I just get taken aback when, I'm driving down my South LA street and this wonderful parcel of land, instead of it being, a place where you can take a computer class or, record a podcast, it's a Dollar Tree.
Yes.
So
Straight out of China.
So seriously. So SoCo will feature will feature retail that is a little more dynamic and well, I can just say dynamic.
Sustainable, organic, nurturing communities within the city itself.
Right.
Those that are creating content or product. The herbs, the oils, the music.
The restaurants.
The restaurants.
The healing stations.
The healing.
There's plans to have a vegan
Yes.
restaurant in one of the restaurant spaces. So that will be the one of the economic drivers that will ensure that the project is able to be sustained.
So the economic importance is so important, and you've made sure it's beautiful and the finances are sexy coming in, anyone that comes on to the project will have a wonderful return as well as giving back to the community.
Right.
When you give to the children that don't have a lot given to them, they are so loyal to those brands and to those companies.
Absolutely. And the third component of the project is Nimbus X, which is the Innovation and Business Center. And this will feature living labs. So it's premised on the concept of ubiquitous computing, which is basically the things around us are animated with technology. So instead of, when I go to a certain hospital having to have them fax over my records, my medical records are available. That's just one aspect of what ubiquitous computing is.
Going from a 3D existence to a 4D,
Right.
where this water bottle knows I just drank from it, as well as I'm walking out of a room and it turns itself off.
And the water bottle refills.
Yes.
That's
Yeah.
the premise.
Is there a dishwasher?
Yes.
yes. So that's what Nimbus X is premised on, and it'll feature a living lab. So if a Microsoft or a Dyson, vacuum wants to see how customers will interact with the product,
Yes.
they can purchase space or rent space to have one of their product demonstration and research and development activities take place in the living lab. And there'll also be hacker and maker space and co-working space. So it's really a center of creativity and innovation that also has economic components built into it, because companies will have the opportunity to sponsor certain corridors or purchase space for their research and development needs. So that just skims the surface of all that is a part of Hub City Live, which will be we've termed it the Jewel of Compton, because it'll be a tourist destination, an economic engine, and really speaking from being a product of South Central Los Angeles, it offers hope to young boys and girls who feel forgotten, who feel overlooked, who feel like they are targets, and it creates a sense of, I have value, I have merit, I have worth. If someone cares enough to invest in a project that will be over $70 million to build out, then that means that I have something meaningful to contribute to the world, because people feel that I'm valuable enough to invest. So that's one of the intangible benefits of a project like this, which really makes me excited.
Yeah.
So beautiful. I'm so excited about it. And you started out in service. Your family, your grandparents, your parents were always serving. And so you went to college, you developed yourself to be the greatest service that you could possibly be.
Absolutely.
And urban development and economic development is what you've realized was your calling and your gift. And so that people that are on this project, Rickie Byars Beckwith, Ivory, you, Mikkel, all of those that were on this, we are in love with this because it grows from the center where we are right now, endless possibilities that will continue to give generation after generation. What the Egyptians built, we're still talking about.
Right.
And some of the design of the center is based on the wisdom of ancient Africa, the wisdom of Egypt, what we've learned through the natives of different lands.
Yes.
And then it's grounded in the cutting edge of those that are in service. Rickie Beebe, you've been in service your whole life as far as I'm concerned. You've given your life to this, and this miraculous seed is coming through this voice. You're giving voice to what Hub City Live is. And so just a few, as we're wrapping up, just a couple words of what this means overall.
Well, it means that something fresh is upon us. I sing the song that says the Spirit of God is upon us.
Yes.
As the Spirit of God is upon me. And so it feels like this with so many people being inspired by the vision of it.
Yes.
And to hear Ivory speak about it, to hear you speak about it, and just to feel the catching on of a great idea, to see it begin to manifest, something that we create together.
Yes.
Because we're creating it together.
And so, miracle makers, as you're listening to this, you can be part of the dream, part of the birth of an organization that has raised itself so high that we are sailing in grounded terms, completely grounded with what's possible for all that are connected to this.
Yes, yes.
So thank you so much. Thank you for
Thank
being
you very
here.
much.
Thank you for being miracle makers.
Yes.
Yeah, because we all get these nudges to create from the divine, and but then to put that into motion and unleash your creativity and draw in resources. Such a beautiful example of being miracle makers.
Yes.
So thank you for doing that.
We are so honored by Hub City Live, by your presence, and for the opportunity to be part of it. And so, miracle makers, if you're listening to this, here's the calling for you to be part of it. Visit the websites and also subscribe to our podcast. Share this out with your community. You never know whose life will be transformed by what was shared in this show. And we are so grateful for you, miracle makers. Thank you.
Thank you, miracle makers.
Past is history, the future mystery. This moment is the gift. Every